Okay, I'll admit it. TNA swerved me. I thought it was a foregone conclusion match, but TNA, you got me. I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe. I thought there was no way that Samoa Joe could possibly lose the match. And he lost it. He lost it because of Kurt Angle's wife. That being said, this is probably one swerve that never should have happened. I mean, the only outcome that made any sense was for Samoa Joe to win. Even considering all the build-up, while, it was a great swerve to have Kurt Angle win, it would have made more sense for Joe to have all the titles simply on the fact that Joe is a lot more credible in all three of TNA's divisions than Kurt Angle is. I mean, can anyone see Kurt Angle going up against Christopher Daniels for the X Division Championship, or going up against Sanjay Dutt or Jay Lethal or Senshi or Elix Skipper for the X Division title, or a Homicide? I don't. I mean, letting him have the heavyweight championship, making Kurt Angle the heavyweight champion is one thing. Having him as the tag champion, maybe they can make that work if they can find someone that Kurt Angle can work with. But, of course, given the way that they're carrying his cocky heel character, they'll probably have him defend the belt all by himself against, say, the Steiners or Team 3D or even the Motor City Machine Guns or LAX. But the X Division Championship, no. Now, this is not to say I would not like to see a match between Kurt Angle and Christopher Daniels, the current X Division #1 contender, just not for the X belt. Christopher Daniels has a lot of talent and charisma in him, and I use charisma in the sense that I usually hate to use it, meaning mic skills. But, a match between him and Kurt Angle would be fine, but not for the X Division title. If it were for the heavyweight title, that would be great, because I would finally get to see one of my boys, Christopher Daniels, going for the heavyweight championship like he should be. Instead, we don't know what's going to happen to the X Division Championship, but they got to take it off of Kurt Angle somehow, and the only way I can see it is either if A, Samoa Joe wins it back from him, or if they do that X Division match between him and Christopher Daniels. In the meantime, they have the Monster Abyss going up against him at the next pay-per-view, No Surrender, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, this would be a match that I would like to see. Unfortunately, since we still haven't seen the official debut of James Mitchell's new monster, Judas Messias, I don't think there's any way Abyss will win the title back. And it pains me to say that, because I like Abyss. I want him to have the title again. But since Judas Messias, or Messias, or whatever the heck it's pronounced, hasn't showed up yet, and obviously that character is meant to go into a feud with the Monster Abyss, then, I don't see any way that the Monster Abyss is going to win the heavyweight championship, and I don't like it. So, we're no better off than we were before before the winner takes all match, and we're definitely not any better off. We're not even better off than we were before the freaking Match of Champions. The Match of Champions was a huge mistake, but they carried on with that, and they went for the All or Nothing match. They had a chance to rectify that by having Samoa Joe win, and let's face it, Samoa Joe and Abyss, that would have been an awesome match too, because they've been in Monsters Ball, and they have torn it up before in a match with each other. They can do it one-on-one easily because they're the two best big men in TNA right now. But they messed up with that by giving it to Kurt Angle. So, you know, TNA, I like TNA. It's the only kind of wrestling that I can watch right now because, as I've said before, WWE is dead to me. There's nothing that they are doing that can bring me back. They're making one mistake after another. WWE has become flat out unwatchable for me. But TNA, just because you're the only company that I watch doesn't mean I'm going to let you off the hook. If you screw up, I am going to let you know. And in this case, you royally screwed up because now it's going to take at most 3 pay-per-views, at least 1 pay-per-view and 2 impacts to get to, fix the belt situation, to get the tag championships off Kurt Angle, and to get the X Division back in the X Division where it belongs, on someone who can actually work in the X Division and work that style. So, it took what ended up being a mess over at the Match of Champions, the foregone conclusion match back there. Then you had another match that could have been a foregone conclusion match, probably should have been a foregone conclusion match. You go completely the opposite way, and while I enjoy a good swerve, this was one swerve that was absolutely horrible. I like being surprised. I like being able to say, okay, you got me, but now what are you going to do with it? I don't see what you're going to be able to do with it. You've dug yourself into a whole TNA. You better find the ladder quick. And personally, messiest or not, I would start by putting the heavyweight championship, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, around Abyss's waist. And then, next thing you do, take care of the X Division title because it needs to get the hell off of Angle. It needs to get back amongst the X Division because there are a bunch of guys there that are not really doing anything. And you got Christopher Daniels, the #1 contender, who's waiting in stasis until you can figure out just what in the God's name you're going to do with the darn title. And then finally, you need to get the tag titles off of Kurt Angle because the way you got his character right now, there's no way in hell that anyone is going to tag with him. So how is he going to be able to adequately defend those belts? And I know one person defending a tag team titles has been done in the past before. That doesn't mean it's a good idea. These are legitimate problems. These are serious problems. And you need to fix them. You need to fix them, and you need to fix them immediately, or else pretty much there will be no wrestling in the United States that will be watchable anymore. Except possibly Ring of Honor. I don't know how their pay-per-views have been going because I work for a living. I don't make that much. I can't afford pay-per-views whenever the heck I want. If I could afford pay-per-views whenever the heck I want, I could afford to upgrade my damn computer. But that's completely off topic. Anyway, TNA, these are critical problems, and you need to fix them immediately. And, I'll be the first to say that I don't think Vince Russo is a terrible booker, but the way things have been booked lately, it's not spectacular either.